Hello, welcome back to IPBC Asia 2013. One of the most prolific applicants for patents in the United States is the Japanese electronics maker Canon. According to statistics published by Canon from the US Patent and Trademark Office, in 2012 Canon was in third position behind just IBM and Samsung and filed for about twice as many patents as General Electric. So with such a prolific number of patents coming through and also having already established a very significant portfolio, what's the next step? We're speaking today to Hideki Sanatake, who is Senior General Manager at the IP Transactions and Enforcement Center, visiting here in Singapore from Canon, Japan. Thanks so much for coming over.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So when you have such a large number of patents coming through, what sort of issues do you face in managing those and keeping them up to date?
That's a good question. First of all, Canon takes very conservative approach as to the patents, and it's always protecting our business. And as you know, unlike other industry like pharmaceutical, Canon's business machines and cameras consist of many patents. So it is very important for us to keep the sufficient patents to cover the products line and products. So the numbers of the patents must become larger than any other industry. So that's number one. And the second point is, still the volume of the patents is really worse when we have the cross-license arrangements, because we compare not each piece of the patents, rather we focusing on the patent portfolio per se. So those two things make us still going on to have a large patent portfolio. Of course, the problem is the costs, and our top management is always considering about cost reduction programs. And fortunately, Canon has some DNA to put much emphasis on the importance of a patent. So far, we do not have a difficulty of keeping our budget, but I don't know tomorrow.
But you have about 90,000 patents in your portfolio, you're saying. So in order to reduce cost, as you're already saying you're under pressure, why not maybe sell some, or perhaps strike more licensing agreements, become more litigious? What are your options?
We have not sold, and we will not sell the patents for money. We still believe patents is for protecting our own business. And we need to think about the industry per se. Recent trends sell the patents to NPEs, and NPEs attacks other manufacturers. As a big picture, operating companies are killing or damaging operating companies, which means we're damaging ourselves by our patents. So we need to stop this kind of vicious cycle. So Canon would be the leader to stop this drain, and that's why we have no idea to sell the patents, monetize the patents. So very conservative.
So what are the other options you're considering?
Just give up the idea, give up, abandon unnecessary patents, so not for money.
You have a staff strength of 80 across 5 divisions in your center. Are you expecting to grow that in order to continue to maintain the patents that you have?
Yeah. For defensive purposes, we need to increase the number of, especially for litigation areas, and also anti-counterfeit is a different issue. So we need to strengthen that part. Especially we have a little concern about the growth of the numbers of litigation in China, which we have not really good experiences. So that will be the part of that increase.
Let me zoom out a little bit and talk about Japan as an innovator. Now, you obviously have an international experience, so you have both the home as well as foreign view of the situation in Japan. We know that Japan has been a strong innovator in the past, but we also know that the economy has been languishing, and many companies, particularly from South Korea, have taken the prime position that Japanese companies once held. Given the fact that your Prime Minister now is so active and so proactive, I guess, in trying to revitalize the economy after, what is it now, 25 years, about a generation of stagnation, how do you think Canon can play a role in that, or the question of innovation, how innovators can play a role to support what your government is trying to do. And again, you're the third largest economy. It seems such a waste that you have all this innovation, and yet somehow it's not translating into traction in the economy.
Once again, very conservative steps, but innovation will not happen suddenly. Innovation is maybe occurring near where you are, which means just like Canon's history. Canon started with cameras. Cameras uses lenses, so we utilize that technology to printers and also semiconductor manufacturing machines. All of them use lenses. So we expand our business domain based on core technology and innovation. But innovation will not happen suddenly, a totally different field. So we are gradually expanding a business domain, and we expect innovation will occur near our core business. And that's the way we contribute to the Japanese innovation and economy.
Okay, but let me drill down a little bit more into this, because again, looking at the US Patent and Trademark Office statistics, which are published on your website, there's Canon in number 3 position, just ahead of Sony, Panasonic, and further down is Toshiba. So there we've got 4 companies from Japan in the top 10. From Korea, it's Samsung and LG Electronics. That would suggest that, again, despite the fact that South Korea has become such a prolific innovator and has developed such strong electronics companies, that Japan is not sitting idle. And yet when we think about the market leaders in technology, particularly in electronics, we tend to think of the Koreans these days rather than the Japanese. Do you think Japan, given the fact that we've got 4 companies out of the top 10 in terms of applying for patents, that Japan can reclaim that spot from Korea?
That's an interesting view. Korean, for example, Samsung is very strong and good, economically, financially good, but their core business is very limited area, and I do not believe they have various fields to file patents. Rather, they should focus on certain area, cell phones, smartphones. Other Japanese manufacturers have a various business all over the market, and we need to expand our patent portfolio to cover all the product lines. That's the difference, I think. So Korean companies are very strong economically, and for a certain part very innovative, but still Japanese companies are covering various kinds of the products and markets. That's why we're innovative in various fields. That's a number.
10 years from now, how do you see your role? How will you want to be judged? What successes will you hope to have booked?
I don't know. If I know, I'll be a great investor. But one thing I should say is now we're focusing on certain IT things, and IT is a very fashionable, cool thing. But still, we need hardware to support all our lives. So hardware will not disappear. So hardware should be the key of innovation, of the quality of life. So successful manufacturers or providers should be those hardware-based companies. That's my hope.
We wish you the best of luck. Thank you again for joining us here today at IPBC Asia 2013.